The addition of the CenterPoint inventory module allows a user to set up several different types of inventory items. The different types of inventory items that are available are service items with labor cost, non-tracked items, inventory items, serialized items, and lotted items. This video is going to concentrate on service items with labor cost. To add a service item with labor cost, we're going to click on Setup, and we're going to go down to Inventory, and we're going to go ahead and set up an item. Okay, now a service item, the difference between a service item and a service item with labor cost is with a service item, we are basically just recording the sales as revenue. With a service item with labor cost is when that item is sold, we are also going to move whatever was previously charged to a labor expense over to a cost of goods for the sales of this item. So we're basically adding the labor to the cost of this service. You can see here I already have a few of them that are set up as sales service items with labor cost. But we're now offering a child half-day ski lesson, and we want to go ahead and add that. So we're going to go ahead and click New here to add a new service item with labor cost. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the abbreviation of this. Okay, and then we can go ahead and put in a full description of the item here underneath the name. Okay, and then we're going to choose our type, and the type we're going to choose this time is service item with labor cost. Okay, I have to choose a sales group. Okay, to choose a sales group, you're going to go ahead and click on the lookup. And there's already a group out there by default called general, and that would be if everything fell into the same category, you would just put it into general. But setting up service groups or sales groups allows us to go ahead and set up the system so that it can default certain accounts in. I'm going to choose mine called Tours and Lessons, and then I'm going to right click on it to edit it so that you can see that when I created this sales group, I created it so that it defaulted the service sales account into the returns and into the sales account field, and the returns and allowances field is going right back to service sales as well. Okay, so I've gone ahead and defaulted those accounts. So every time I choose a sales group here on the accounts tab, I have to wait till I get to the accounts tab, but on the accounts tab, it will default those items in there. Okay, next is choosing a sales tax category. And I have two categories for my general merchandise and one for my service items. I'm going to go ahead and choose my service items. Now, in a lot of areas, service items might be non-taxable, so this might be marked here. And in some of our areas, it is non-taxable. However, if I right-click on that sales tax category here, you can see that this sales tax category was set up with only one jurisdiction actually charging a sales tax on service items. So because of that, I'm going ahead and marking it as taxable. You're going to choose whether or not that item is current, discontinued, and obsolete. Usually you'd be setting up only current items. Waiting stocking unit is not available for a service item. You can select a commission. So if you've set up different commissions for bike tour sales, or for ski lesson sales, then you could go ahead and select from that commissions here. There is a separate video on commissions. We don't give any commissions for these sales, so we're going to go ahead and skip that field. If there's a trade discount that applies on this item, you can mark it that a trade discount applies, and those trade discounts are set up on the individual customers. So if a customer has a trade discount, it would then apply to this item if that checkbox was marked. Okay, you're going to go ahead and choose a selling unit of measure. So we sell each half-day ski lesson. We could even make that be student or something like that. So anything that just represents that single item. We can put in a suggested price. That's all it is a suggested price. We don't have, that price is not really the price that's going to get used when you go ahead and sell the item. We'll see that over here on the pricing tab. It's just a suggested price. Okay, the unit cost though, we did not use on service items, but we are going to use this on service items with labor cost. Okay, this is how much labor cost is associated with each one of these items that are sold. So we've determined that we pay about $120 in labor for each child half-day ski lesson that is sold. Okay. Actually, let me make that be a little bit less. I'm going to say, because we want to break this out per students. So we're gonna say that $50 in labor cost is transferred for each child half-day ski lesson, and they teach more than one kid, so we're not going to put the full labor cost of half a day for one instructor into this particular charge here. Okay, now this particular $50 will be transferred from whatever labor expense it was originally put to a cost of goods for the sale of this item. Okay, and that's done by going ahead and selecting the proper accounts on the Accounts tab. So you can see here the two accounts from my sales group were defaulted over here. So service sales for sales and service and sales for returns and allowances. But down here is where I want to choose my direct labor, which is the account that my labor is initially gone ahead and recorded to when we write out a paycheck. But we want to transfer that to a cost of goods for service sales. So we're going to go ahead and put that to service costs. Okay, so this amount over here with every sale of a child's half-day ski lesson will transfer $50 from the labor cost, the direct labor account, over to my service costs account. Okay, now the pricing tab, you notice that lotted serialized units of measure and purchase information are all tabs that are disabled with a service item. So we're going to go over to pricing here. We're going to choose a pricing method. Okay, so you can choose from the different price methods. There is a different video on different price methods. I'm going to go ahead and choose the price method. And then you can see here that I've chose fixed pricing with no quantity breaks, and I have 3 different price levels. Those 3 different price levels are set up as a preference. If I go to File and Preferences, and I'm going to bring it over to my screen over here and go to Items on the Preferences screen, and you see here that there's a selection for price levels. And on the database tab there, I've gone ahead and said that I have 3 price levels, and I've given them names. I've given them bronze, gold, and platinum level names. Okay, usually it'll just say price level 1, price level 2, price level 3, which you can use, or you could actually rename them like I have. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put in what the price level is for, or what the price is for each one of those levels. So we are going to charge $125 for each child ski lesson, and it doesn't matter what kind of a customer they are. We're going to choose the same price. Okay, then the last one is this Other Information tab. The Other Information tab allows you to track additional information about each one of your items. Okay, so you could set up fields of information for each of these items and whether or not that information is going to be required. Okay, to set up those custom fields, you can go to File and Preferences, and over here on my Preferences screen, underneath Items, and Item Custom Fields, and on the Database tab is where I can go ahead and give a name and a description to each of these custom fields. You can have up to 5 custom fields, and then you can tell the system whether it's used and or whether it's required. And then below is the ability to substitute items for this. Now this particular one I don't have a substitute for, but if I did have a substitute item for it, I could go ahead and select that substitute. Usually you're only using the substitute items with actual inventory items. I'm going to go ahead and click save on that. And then just to show you how the labor cost actually works, I'm going to go ahead and start a customer invoice here. And we're going to go ahead and choose our customer, Chuck Adams. Okay, we can go ahead and put in a PO number, invoice date. It's already defaulting terms for him, so calculating his due date and what sales tax jurisdiction he's in. If I go over here to the invoice, we could go ahead and choose that half-day ski lesson that we just set up and that we're selling one of them. Now, notice that no tax was calculated because the taxing jurisdiction is Mountain Lake, and that one did not have any tax on service items. Okay, but if I open up this box over here, if I open that up, you can see that just by selecting this one sale of a child half-day ski lesson, that it's taking that $50 and it's taking it out of labor and it's moving it over to a service cost. So that's how that service cost gets, or that labor cost gets moved over to the service cost. Okay, so that is the setup of our service items with labor cost.